In November 2021, a ranger at the land between the lakes heard her own voice screaming for help from inside a fence she was standing outside of. In 2019, a rookie climbed a staircase in the Olympic Forest. They found his radio at the top, inside the wood, still transmitting coordinates from the middle of the ocean. And in 2018, a ranger walked out of a cave in the Smokies after 6 days missing. Her skin glowed pale and she doesn't cast a shadow anymore. Tonight, I'm sharing 3 instant report rangers were ordered to delete. Before we begin, subscribe, because what you're about to hear will make you question every area close sign you've ever ignored. Drop a comment telling me where you're listening from, because after these stories, you'll want to know you're not alone. In 1982, a family of 4 went camping in land between the lakes, Kentucky. 3 days later, their campsite looked like a slaughterhouse. The area was closed permanently, fenced off, no explanation. 43 years later, rangers still hear screaming from inside the fence, but it's not human. Ranger Jennifer Hayes transferred to the land between the lakes in 2019. During her orientation, her supervisor walked her past a section of the park marked on the maps as Bay Ridge Peninsula, closed for restoration. It was surrounded by 8-foot chain link fencing topped with barbed wire. Every 50 yards, there were signs: hazardous area, no entry by the order of the MPS. Hayes asked what they were restoring. Her supervisor said, "Nothing, we just make sure nothing gets out." She thought he was joking. The beast of the land between the lakes was local folklore, a cryptic blamed for livestock killings and disappearances in the 70s. In 1980, 2 teenagers were found dead near the Bay Ridge, their bodies torn apart. The case was never solved. But the official reason for closing Bay Ridge was environmental contamination. Hayes checked the EPA database. No records existed, no soil samples, no clean-up permits. She asked senior rangers about it. They changed the subject. November the 12th, 2021. Hayes is running a routine perimeter check when she finds a section of fence torn open. Not cut, torn. The steel mesh ripped outside from the inside. Edges curled back like something clawed through with immense force. The gouges in the metal are deep, spaced 6 inches apart. She radios it in. That night, sitting alone in the ranger station, she hears something on the emergency radio frequency, a channel that hasn't been used in 15 years. Static, then breathing, wet, laboured, like something with a throat full of fluid. Then a voice, her supervisor's voice, calm, measured. "Stay out of Bay Ridge." She picks up the radio. "Who is this?" The breathing stops. The voice again, but wrong, too slow, like a recording played at half speed. "Stay out of Bay Ridge." She checks the transmission origin. It's coming from inside the exclusion zone, from Ranger Tower 14, a structure demolished in 1984. The next morning, Hayes files an instant report. By noon, she's called into a closed meeting with a district supervisor and 2 men in suits who don't introduce themselves. They ask her what she heard. She tells them. One of the men slides a folder across the table. Inside are instant reports from 1979 to 1982, handwritten, stamped in red ink, "Do not file." Every report describes the same thing: rangers encountering a bipedal creature near Bay Ridge, 7 to 8 feet tall, covered in dark fur, eyes that reflected like a dog's. One report, dated March 1982, it describes a ranger firing his service weapon at a creature after it charged him. He hit it 3 times in the chest. It didn't slow down. It didn't bleed. It spoke, in the ranger's voice, calling for backup in his exact words, even though the Ranger was smashed on the ground. The Ranger was found 2 days later, catatonic, 12 miles away. He never returned to work. The suited men tell Hayes the fence will be reinforced. They tell her the incident will not be logged. They tell her she will be transferred to a different district within 30 days. She asks what's really in Bay Ridge. The older man closes the folder. "Nothing that concerns you anymore," he says. Hayes doesn't transfer. She refuses the reassignment and stays at the land between the lakes, working perimeter patrols for 3 more months. On February the 9th, 2022, she's running a midnight check near Bay Ridge when she hears her own voice calling from inside the fence. "Jennifer, Jennifer, help me, I'm hurt." Her voice, her cadence, her fear. She stands 15 feet from the fence, flashlight trained on the darkness beyond. "Jennifer, please, it's so cold, I can't find my way back." She radios base. "I need confirmation of my location. Am I at the Bay Ridge perimeter?" "Affirmative, you're on the northwest corner." "And I'm the only ranger on patrol tonight?" "Affirmative." She points her flashlight towards the voice. 2 eyes reflect the light, 70 yards inside the fence, 8 feet off the ground. The voice speaks again, but this time it's layered, her voice overlapping with something deeper, guttural. "Why won't you help me, Jennifer? Why won't you help me, Jennifer?" She backs away, the eyes follow, she runs. Jennifer Hayes resigned effective February the 10th, 2022. I reached out to her for this story. She declined to comment, but she sent me a single sentence in reply. "I heard my voice inside that fence. I was standing outside." The Bay Ridge exclusion zone remains closed. In 2023, the Park Service quietly upgraded the fencing, 12 feet high now, with razor wire and motion sensors. No explanation was given, but if you look at satellite images of Bay Ridge from the past 40 years, you'll notice something. The tree line inside the fence is dying, a perfect circle, expanding outwards from the centre, where Ranger Tower 14 used to stand. Something is there, and it's learning to speak. Four rangers entered Section 9C of the Great Smoky Mountains to search for missing hikers. Only 3 came back. The 4th walked out 6 days later with skin so pale it glowed in the dark. This is the instant report they were ordered to delete. October the 14th, 2018, Cades Cove, Back County. Officer Sarah Chen's team was responding to 3 missing hiker reports in 48 hours, all last seen entering what rangers internally called the White Zone. The nickname wasn't official. It started in the 70s when search teams kept reporting sightings of something pale walking through the cave systems, something that walked on 4 limbs but had no human spine. Sarah's body cam footage begins at 6:47 AM. The team is hiking towards the last known coordinates when they find the first hiker's backpack. It's arranged carefully on a flat rock, zippers open, contents laid out in a perfect circle. "It's like someone was showing us what they took," Sarah's voice says on the recording. Half a mile deeper, they find a sleeping bag, then a boot, then another boot, each item placed deliberately, leading them towards a cave entrance marked on no official map. The team lead, Marcus Webb, radios base. "We're seeing what looks like drag marks, but they're going into the cave, not out." At 11:23 AM, Sarah enters the cave to document the scene. Her camera light sweeps across limestone walls. The footage shows scratch marks, long, thin grooves running along the ceiling, like something crawled upside down. Then her light catches it. A figure, pressed flat against the cave ceiling 30 feet up. Humanoid, naked, skin translucent enough to see the shadow of bones underneath. Its head rotates 180 degrees to look at the camera. Sarah screams. The footage cuts to static. Search teams deployed immediately. They found their teammates outside the cave, unconscious but alive. No injuries, no explanation. Sarah Chen was missing for 6 days. When she walked out of the cave on October the 20th, she was barefoot, hypothermic, and couldn't remember entering. Her skin had lost all pigmentation. Medical staff said it looked like vitiligo, but across 100% of her body in under a week. The doctor's notes, later sealed, described something else. Her pupils were dilated to twice normal size, and she had extreme photosensitivity. Every dim indoor lighting caused her pain. She kept saying the same thing. It showed me where they went. They're still down there. They're waiting. Her body cam footage was confiscated by park supervisors within an hour of her return. The incident report was filed under environmental exposure, personnel recovery, with no mention of the cave or the missing hikers. Sarah Chen signed a non-disclosure agreement and was transferred to a desk position in Yellowstone, 800 miles away. But here's what the official file doesn't include. 2 months after the incident, rangers patrolling near the cave reported hearing a woman's voice calling for help from inside. They recognized it as Sarah's voice. They radioed her supervisor, who confirmed she was on duty in Wyoming at that exact moment. The calls continued. Always Sarah's voice, always coming from inside the cave. In March 2019, the cave entrance was sealed with concrete and rebar. A sign was posted. Geological instability, no entry. The voice stopped. But in June 2021, a caver exploring an adjacent system broke through into an unmapped chamber. His helmet cam catches something that made him drop his equipment and run. 7 people standing in a circle in complete darkness, faces turned towards the ceiling. One of them was wearing Sarah Chen's Park Service jacket. But Sarah Chen was alive, working in Yellowstone, responding to emails, attending meetings. The caver reported it to local police. They forwarded it to the Park Service. The case was closed within 24 hours, listed as misidentification due to light distortion. The caver's footage was never returned. I spoke to Marcus Webb, the team lead, off record. He's retired now. He lives in Florida. He told me he still has nightmares about what he saw on Sarah's body cam before it was taken. It wasn't just on the ceiling, he said. It was part of it, like the stone was breathing. I asked him if he thought Sarah really came back. He was quiet for a long time. I don't know, he said, but I know one thing. When she walked out of that cave, she didn't cast a shadow anymore, not even in direct sunlight. Sarah Chen still works for the National Park Service, still responds to emails. Her personal files say she's in good health. But 3 different rangers have reported seeing her name on the staff directory for Great Smoky Mountains, listed as on duty, Section 9C. She's never been transferred back, and Section 9C doesn't have any active ranger stations. There are staircases in the Olympic National Forest that lead to nothing. They're made of wood, polished, solid, sometimes decades old. They stand in the middle of roadless wilderness where no structures have ever existed. Rangers are trained never to climb them. In 2019, a rookie broke that rule. They found his radio at the top, still transmitting from inside the wood. Ranger Marcus Webb had been given the same warning to new hires for 15 years. If you find stairs in the back country, photograph them, mark the GPS, and walk away. Do not touch them. Do not climb them. Do not ask why. It wasn't in the training manual, it was never written down, but every ranger in the Ho Rainforest District knew about the stairs protocol. The stairs appeared in missing 411 clusters, remote areas where hikers vanished without explanation. Sometimes the stairs were Victorian-era hardwood, sometimes modern pressure-treated pine, always freestanding, always structurally perfect, as if someone had maintained them yesterday. Tyler Reeves was 3 weeks into his first solo patrol when he found one. October the 8th, 2019, grid 47N, 12 miles from the nearest trail. His radio log captured the moment. Tyler started. "Base, I've got staircase out here, middle of nowhere, no foundation, no structure, just stairs." Base responded. "Copy, mark location and proceed with." Tyler responded. "It's really well made, like someone built this recently. I'm going to check the top, see if there's any..." Base responded aggressively. "Negative, do not approach the..." Tyler cut in. "It's fine, it's solid, I'm just going to..." And then silence. That was the end. Search teams reached its last coordinates within 4 hours. They found the staircase exactly where Tyler described. 8 steps, dark oak, leading up to nothing. At the top step, embedded inside the wooden railing, was Tyler's radio. Not attached, not sitting on the top, inside the wood, as if the grain had grown around the plastic casing. The power light was still blinking. The transmit button was pressed in, held down by solid oak that had no seam, no cut, no entry point. It was still broadcasting. Tyler's voice was coming through, faint and distorted. "Coordinates don't match. I'm at 47.8621 north, 124.3381 west, but that's in the ocean. That's 20 miles offshore. How am I?" The coordinates he gave didn't exist on land. They placed him in the Pacific Ocean. A forensic team tried to extract the radio. The wood was too dense. They eventually cut the entire section of railing away and sent it to a lab in Virginia. The lab report, later classified, noticed the wood was Douglas fir, approximately 60 years old based on the growth rings. But Douglas fir hadn't grown naturally in that part of the forest since the 1980s. The report also noticed something else. The growth rings inside the radio casing were dated to 2024, 5 years in the future from the date of the incident. Tyler Reeves was never found. The official report listed him as missing, presumed deceased due to environmental factors. No mention of the stairs, no mention of the radio. Marcus Webb was called into a closed-door meeting with park supervisors and told to delete all references to staircase protocol from his training notes. The incident was filed as personnel accident. Within a week, an unmarked crew arrived with chainsaws and a flatbed truck. They removed the staircase in sections, loaded it onto the truck, and left. No paperwork, no permit, no explanation. Marcus asked his supervisor where they took it. "There's a warehouse in Nevada," the supervisor said. "It's where they put things that don't fit the maps." Marcus never trained another ranger after that. He retired 6 months later. But here's the part that kept him awake. Every year on October the 8th, the anniversary of Tyler's disappearance, his radio frequency activates. It transmits for exactly 90 seconds, and every year the coordinates are different, 1 degree further north, as if Tyler is moving, as if he's travelling somewhere the maps don't go. In 2020, Vancouver Island backcountry. In 2021, British Columbia wilderness. In 2022, uncharted territory near the Alaskan border. In 2023, The coordinates placed him in the Arctic Ocean. The transmissions are still happening. I submitted a Freedom of Information Act request for Tyler Reeves' case file. It was denied under National Security Exemption. I asked Marcus Webb what he thought the stairs were. He didn't answer for a long time. Then he said, "I think they're doors, and I think Tyler walked through one." I asked where the doors lead. "Somewhere the forest is trying to forget," he said, "and something on the other side is counting down." The next transmission is scheduled for October the 8th, 2026. The coordinates will place Tyler Reeves somewhere in the Yukon where no human has ever been. If you're in grid 47N of the Olympic National Forest and you see a staircase, don't climb it and don't ask where it goes, because the forest will answer.